How you going? Everybody good? Awesome. Fire away.
New rules on kickoff, obviously. Who do you like back there on the team as being that go-to kick return for you guys?
Right now we're in the process of just trying to figure out who we're going to put back there. Obviously, you got DT and guys that have been here before, Chase, and so we're just trying to right now. Got young guys that'll be coming in. They'll compete. Bucky will be back there. So, we'll see. It's all kind of balls in the air, in that situation. But it's been fun just getting back on the field with these guys.
Were you to find out that they changed the rules that we finally could see a return?
I love it. I think it's good for the game. It's not a ceremonial play anymore. I think it's something that can really affect the game in a positive way. I think it's one of those deals where people are going to be surprised about how impactful the play is, and I think it's going to be big. I really do.
Is this one of those things where the teams that figure this out first can really use it to their advantage?
Absolutely.
Whether it's touchdowns or whether it's just getting more gains and flipping the field?
Absolutely. That's why they call us coach. We're paid to make adjustments and do those types of things. So I think, whoever figures it out the quickest and who's ever able to make the adjustments the quickest, I think is going to have the most success.
With the alignments, are you going to necessarily look at different body types to block versus,
It's a really good question.
Faster guys?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's right now everything's up in the air. You just never know.
Get out here in the grass and see what
Exactly. It'll be fun to see how it all kind of, just grows and takes off. It'll be interesting to see the matchups. It'll be interesting to see the in-game matchups. The adjustments you're going to have to make because, all kind of things can happen out there. So it'll be fun.
How much did you look at the USFL tape to just see how they used it?
Yeah, we look at all of it. That's the only thing that you really, you can really watch and get a grasp of. Ours is a little bit different. But, because we have second-level guys, and they only had one guy on offensively, they only had one guy back. So we'll be a little bit different. But I think schematically it frees us up to do, some different things. And I think that potentially, kickoff coverage-wise, it could be fun.
Is this different because there's a line of scrimmage in a sense, right? That it's almost more of like an offensive play? Is that fair to say?
Offensive, defensive plays, just like a regular football play. That's what I tell our guys. Like, you got that mentality of, it's special teams. No, it's the first play of defense, the first play of offense. It's what it is. And I think it's, again, it's going to be fun just to see how it all kind of comes about.
When you have less distance covered on kickoff returning coverage, are you more likely to use significant players, whether it's receivers, whether it's starting DBs, knowing they don't have to go 45 yards downfield on every kickoff?
Yeah, I think you'll maximize the roster from the top down and bottom up when it comes to at this play. Like I said, I think it's the first play of offense, first play of defense because, it's a short, compact area. It's been done, intentional. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be really good for the game.
I'll say field goal going to be the same, but with this new kickoff, does it change the way that you build your special teams room? Like with another player who, with the same rules as before, would they now have a better chance at making the roster with the way that this is set up now?
Absolutely. You look at, potentially, last year, here we only have maybe one return a game. Most of the balls were kicked out of the back of the end zone. Now you're going to have potentially 10 more plays a game. So now you got to build your roster a little bit different. Have some of those core guys that's going to be, those 10 plays are real plays now. So I think it's something everybody will have to make adjustments to, definitely.
How would you describe your coaching style as a special teams coach? More conservative, more risk-taking?
I'm a guy that have our guys, we're going to err on the side of being aggressive. We're going to cover kicks, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we create some really good field position with our return game. I would say I'm probably a little bit conservative, but aggressive at the same time, if that makes sense. I play the game, I coach the game as the game flows. I'm not a huge risk taker. I'm not trying to be a hero by any means, but I'm a team player, and I want to be able to just make the adjustments during the course of the game, and just whatever we got to do to win the football game, we need to do it.
You speak to being able to have a weapon like Jake Camarda.
Yeah, it's when you say weapon, a guy that can flip the field like that is obviously to have a guy like that is huge. But it's a lot of things Jake needs to work on as far as consistency and just being able to just grow his game and further his game. He has a lot of raw talent, and he just needs to refine it just a little bit more. And that's the maturation process of a young punter with a big leg in this league.
Is there anything specific that you want to see him do to be able to get more consistent?
Well, just more of trying to find his process, whatever it is. And, again, that's something that he has to learn and grow through. It's his journey, it's his process, and he has to figure it out. Some guys that I've coached in the past, it's taken them 8 to 9 years to really figure out their real journey and their process and how they go about their daily routine, the rehab, the prehab, all of those things, the mental routine. It takes time, so it's one of those deals there. He's just going to have to find it for himself, and I'll help him along the way.
Hired a guy like Chase McLaughlin, who is obviously great from beyond 50, but also really kind of short up within the 42. Just what does it mean to have a guy like that in the building locked up long term?
Yeah, it's huge, to be able to have a guy that that's dependable, and that's a pro that comes in every day, and he knows exactly what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, and a guy that's been around the block a few times. He's had a couple different jerseys, so he understands what it's like to be sitting at home on the couch and not having a job. And then you learn to appreciate it a little bit more, and then when you get these opportunities, you take full advantage of them like he has. Being 93% last year and being able to grow through that process and understanding what he needed to do to get to that point is huge. And then having him in the building is just you can't have it enough. You can't talk about it enough.
Obviously, there's some kickers in the league that have big legs. Do you think there's going to be a lot of coaches that are still going to want the ball kicked out of the end zone to prevent a return?
It just depends. I really do. I mean, I think it just depends on who the guy back there is returning the ball or guys. I think it depends on potentially the guys covering down. Do you have the body types? Schematically, has the coach figured it out what he wants to do and how he wants to do it? It's going to depend on a lot of that.
As you look at this draft class, and of course those guys always have to play special teams generally to make the team. What do you like about some of the guys, the athletes that you got?
I think to a man, when you look at all these guys, they have some type of really good attribute. It's teams-wise. Whether they be big, strong, fast, quick. Like they all have something. And that's a good thing. Like that's good for them and it's good for us. Jason, the guys did a great job of going out and identifying the talent and then picking them and the guys that's going to fit within our program. And it's you just never know. How draft picks are. 3-4 years down the road, you'll know for sure. But man, they have some good attributes for sure.
Do the players understand the new rule yet?
We hadn't really touched on it yet. We're going to get there. And we just got to make sure everything is tightened up before we kind of go down that road. But it's football. It's going to be just a little adjustment here, a little adjustment there, but it's football. And the game is not going to change. The play is not going to change. All it is just going to take out 30 yards of running. You know what I mean? But the play is going to be the play.
Consistency for a guy like Jake, if he's still can handle the kickoffs. Obviously, if you kick it out of bounds. Now you're not at it was at 20, then 25, now you're at the 30, right. But you're given, a nice little stretch of yardage for teams. Is there going to be more emphasis on practice? Because you don't really see that. You don't see kickoff practices and training camp and stuff like that. Is there going to be more of a detailed emphasis on making sure it hits that landing zone?
Got to be. That's the only way you're going to do it. You got to practice it. It's like anything else. If you're going to run the football, you got to practice running the football. So. Yeah, that part of it is going to be important, being able to place the ball because obviously hang time is irrelevant now. So you got to be able to put the ball in the right spot and just be consistent.
It's been over a decade since this team set kickoff return for a touchdown, and maybe just as long for a punt return. It just has not been a lot of success here finding the end zone for the Buccaneers. What can you do from a mentality standpoint in terms of changing that part of the culture?
Just work at it. That's all I know to do is just work at it. Put the guys in the right spots and make sure they execute at a high level and just work at it. That's the whole thing. I've been around it where I've seen droughts and, and then all of a sudden, bam, You know, a guy makes a play, guy, you know, does his job just a little bit harder, a little bit better, a little bit longer than the next guy, and the guys are hustling, and, you know, it happens. You know, I've seen it happen. You know, last year we had the same type of deal. We had a kid brought in late in the year. We had a block on. He makes the play, he spins out of a tackle, takes it 97 yards to the house, you know. So it happens, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have those droughts, but that's football. I mean, especially in the return game. It's not an easy thing to do, score a touchdown.
It takes a certain mental toughness too, right? I mean, to not, you know you're going to get hit, especially in punt return, to not run out of bounds and take the easy out. You've got to be willing to lower your shoulder and sometimes run through people as well as make guys miss. And, you know,
Absolutely.
You have that attitude in the punt round?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're going to fight for every yard, you know, but we also got to be smart too. You know what I mean? Like, I know our guy's not the biggest guy in the world. I'm not asking him to run anybody over. You know, DT's not a huge guy by any means, you know, but he's got to be smart and make a play and get what you can and get out or get out of bounds or whatever it is. But we got to keep fighting for every inch, but you got to be smart in the whole process. Kickoff return, same thing. Got to return the ball, hit it hard, straight, and fast, and make sure, you know, we get as much positive yards as we can.
Devin Hester was obviously a master at returns. Is there a characteristic that you have to be great at that position?
I mean, obviously, two things. You got to have really good speed, right, and you got to be fearless. You know what I mean? Like it has to be something. I call it running through the smoke. Like you got to run through the smoke. Sometimes you don't know what's on the other side of the smoke, but you got to run through it. You know, and you got to hit that gas when you go through. And guys that have really good vision, that second level vision that can always make the first guy miss, and just seeing beyond to the second level, those guys those ones that are special. You know, that have that really good vision. So, you know, it's hard to develop that. You know, that's something I think innately that you just develop over time. But those guys that have those types of attributes, those are the ones that have a lot of success.
The question everyone's waiting for, long snapper competition, right? You got Zach Charner that should re-sign this year, but also Eric Deckers. How much is that a true competition here? Obviously, Deckers.
Yeah, I mean it's always a competition. You know, and competition is good for everybody. You know, I think you know, Zach and Deck, they've done a good job so far. We've been out there, been working. You know, so we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just one of those deals where you got an older guy and a younger guy that compete for a spot. Competition is good for everybody.
We got the younger guy. Obviously, the older guy has chemistry with Jake and with Chase. Is it hard to, even if the younger guy, is it hard to mess that up in a season where you're trying to win it all?
You know, I think more than anything, I think you're trying to do anything you can to get your football team better. You know, and however you can do that, that's what you want to do. And those guys work together every day. You know, it's not like, you know, Dak just comes out every so often and just snaps the ball. Like, they've snapped to each other every day. So it's something that's happened over time. Those guys feel comfortable with one another. I don't think there'll be an issue.
When you look at all the moving parts and talent at each of the special teams positions, is there something that really stood out to you in taking the job?
You know, more than anything, me taking this job had a lot to do with the leadership in the building. You know, between Jason and Todd, those two guys are great people. They've done an excellent job as a team working together. And to me, that's where it starts with. I think that in itself, more than the players, that's where it starts with me. You know, just having great leadership and being able to see those two guys work together like they do and have success. Because to me, it's all about the team success. I could care less about the individual stuff. To me, it's about, you know, raising that trophy at the end of the year, and that's what we're all trying to work towards.
Anything else?
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.